if everyone's shoes, everyone's briefcases, everyone's toasters, everyone's, whatever, iron, if everything lasted twice as long, then you'd have half as much stuff in the landfill. And so instead of coming up with a better recycling program, how about we come up with buying higher quality for things that last longer so that you throw away less? And also, it's really expensive to be cheap. We say buy nice or buy twice. And buy the best, cry once. And that goes for everything.
What if your business was built to outlast you? That you build a business that's such good quality that it endures, it survives and thrives long after you have exited the built business. Maybe that's because you've designed a quality product that outlasts, endures, and that people want, know, trust, and seek after. And maybe you've created a business where you have that purpose, that you are attracting the best quality employees that want to work with you and want to be part of the legacy you're creating. Well, our guest today on the Business Behind Your Business podcast, joining me, has done just that in an incredible way. And this is going to be a fantastic conversation because I've had a sneak preview of what's in store. And I can tell you, don't go anywhere. This is valuable content. You are going to learn some great tips here and be completely inspired. You're going to learn how a very clear mission can help set your business apart. Create that kind of business that people, as a lead to the book, the memoirs of the founder of this business, they'll fight over it when you're dead. Okay, there's a lot more to that saying than what we might first think. But today we're delighted to be joined by Dave Munson, founder of Saddleback Leather Company. This is a company that has redefined completely what it means to build legacy, impact, and profit. And you're going to learn how that clear mission can set your business apart, particularly in the crowded markets we're facing today. Some of the real world challenges and the rewards of running a purpose-driven company. And we've been hearing that phrase come through a lot, but we're going to find out a lot more about how it actually works in action. And we're going to find some practical tips to really improve the way that you run your business, but also how you feel about it and how your employees and your customers feel about your business. Dave Munson's story began in a dusty Mexican leather shop. Simple sketch pad, bold vision, no breakable parts. And he said, I want my grandkids to fight over it when I'm dead. And we've been talking off air about some of the quality products and how they just endure. And it is that kind of product that you want to be, the kids will be fighting over it because it's just so good quality. That vision became Saddleback Leather Company, and it's now famous for 100-year warranty. And we all know the pain of having that 1-year warranty where the product breaks on month 13. 100-year warranty. Why is he able to offer such a good warranty? Because of the rugged craftsmanship and the mission that goes into his products. Alongside his wife Suzette, Dave's built a brand that partners with global icons and gives back through initiatives like Love 41, which donates 100% of its profits to vulnerable communities. You're going to love this. I have already. Dave Munson, welcome to the Business Behind Your Business podcast.
Hey, Paul. Hey, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. That was a really nice welcome. Man, I feel good about myself. Thank you.
More than welcome. I'm excited because we've been talking before we've hit record, and absolutely fantastic what you've built and where you're taking the company now. But why is purpose? Like you mentioned, you wanted to build a company with no breakable parts, a product that survives. Why having a purpose like that was such important to you when you started your business compared to a lot of the businesses we see today where it's really just for the here and now?
Well, I wanted to have something that I could hand down to my kids. And that it would kind of go on generation after generation. When I was young, when I started high school, my dad said, son, if you don't smoke or drink until you're 21, I'm going to give you a gold pocket watch. And I said, well, that'd be easy. That's cool. Thanks, Dad. And I had this idea. Oh, I'm gonna hand it down. I'll have this pocket watch, and then you see, movies about that. This old watch that they handed down, or I got my great grandfather's pocket watch or his pocket knife, and I still think is really cool. But I thought, what if I had bags that people could hand down? Man, that would be really neat. And not everyone can afford a watch, or certain things to hand down, but that's something that could work if it just didn't have breakable parts. And so I was thinking that for myself, I wanted something for myself, and then I designed it. The guy made it, and when I got back up to the States after a year in Mexico teaching English, uh, man, I was getting tapped on the shoulder 4 or 5 times a day. Excuse me, where could I buy a bag like that? Excuse me, sir, where'd you get that bag? Where can I buy one? And I thought, I bet there's a business here. I didn't really start off to have a business though.
But like a lot of business owners, your business has come out of solving a real problem, providing a real long-term solution that obviously other people have felt that that's a solution that they want as well. So you've created a business out of fulfilling somebody's needs.
Yeah, when I design leather bags or leather things, I design things that I personally would want or I'd want for my wife. And so when the Apple Watches came out, I said, "Oh, the last thing I need is a little distracting little computer on my wrist," and because I'm already distracted enough. And so I got a couple of Apple Watches. I thought, I'll make some watch bands for these, and we'll sell a lot of them. But then I thought, I got them, and I started thinking about it. I said, I would never use it. So we did a contest, and I gave the watches away. And and people were like, "Oh, but you could make a killing." And I go, "Yeah, but I wouldn't use it. Like, I don't feel like it would be right." It's not wrong to do that, but so I make things for myself. And that whole golden rule, treat others as you would like to be treated. And, but I'm kind of like a design for others as you would like them to design for you. It's kind of the golden rule. So I do things that I would want for someone else to treat me that way, with employees too.
Hmm. So we might pick up the employees after, but talking about, so obviously you've got an idea that you want a quality product that doesn't break, is going to last, endure. So that comes into everything you design. So everything you create.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's one of the things. So we have a breakfast restaurant. He just went out of business. In a small town, we live in a small town. There are 3 breakfast restaurants. There were 3. Now there are just 2. And when it first opened about 5 years ago, I went in and I had the biscuits and gravy, which is an American breakfast in the South. And I judge a restaurant by that. And so the owner came up. She goes, "Oh, thanks for coming in. What'd you think of the biscuits and gravy?" And I said, well, they were equally as good as Azel Cafe and Moe's. And she said, "Oh." I said, "Would you like a suggestion?" She goes, "Yeah, sure. What?" I said, what if you looked up on the internet, like 5 the best biscuits and gravy recipes in the world, and you made all 5, and then you let people test them, and the one that everyone chose the best, the favorite one, what if you made that every morning for breakfast? You'd have a line out the door. It doesn't take any more effort to be the best, or very much more effort to try to be the best. Don't just try to be average. Try your best to be the best. And so if you're going to do lawn maintenance or roofing, or you're going to do shoes, or you're going to do marketing advice, whatever, try to become the best. That's what I tell people. Try. And so learn all you can, nerd out, and just study everything, and then educate people on what you learned. So I feel that same way with the leather bags, that if I'm going to have a bag, why not try to make it the longest lasting, most durable, good looking leather bag that I can possibly make it? And so I think that way in everything I do. Not everything. So I take shortcuts sometimes, but not in my bags. I try to, we're building the headquarters right now. And I was like, I want to have the coolest headquarters in the whole world. Not the most expensive or anything, the biggest, but I want to have the coolest one. So we're having swinging bridges and we're having tunnels and we're having secret rooms and all that stuff because I want it to be super cool. One of the buildings is going to be made out of solid leather bales of like a bale of hay, but solid leather scrap. And about 29,000 cows of scrap leather. But I'm just trying to go after the coolest. Why not try? It's not hard. Just got to plan it.
Mm. So quality is important to you, but are there other reasons behind, like, a lot of people are talking about we need to be sustainable, we need to be less wasteful in what we do. What's the other purposes, or I guess the things that drive you about why quality is so important and why it's important not to be, designing products that are throwaway?
Yeah. So if I say if everyone's shoes, everyone's briefcases, everyone's toasters, everyone's whatever iron, if everything lasted twice as long, then you'd have half as much stuff in the landfill. And so instead of coming up with a better recycling program, how about we come up with buying higher quality for things that last longer so that you throw away less. And also, it's really expensive to be cheap. People will we say buy nice or buy twice. And buy the best, cry once. And that goes for everything. You don't need to have gold wiring in your home or platinum wiring because it conducts better than copper. But copper does a really good job. Don't go with aluminum because that heats up and a lot of fires start and all that sort of thing. But you go with copper because it does a really good job. So you don't have to have the utmost of the highest of the, tanned with the sweat of 40 virgins and all of this sort of whatever but you want to have really nice quality because you save money. It's better for you. It's better for your pocketbook. It makes you feel better. A woman who has diamonds instead of crystals and she knows it makes her feel nice. If you have a solid gold something as opposed to like gold colored, it makes you feel nice. It's just some things just make you feel nice. So quality makes you feel nice. It saves you money. It's better for the environment. It's better for your descendants because they get it too.
So those commitments you've got to quality and I guess saving the environment, because we're not having throwaway, we're not filling up landfill, we're not being wasteful, we're not, making the world worse off for the following generations. But how has that really affected everything you do with the company?
Well, so when we give ourselves a constraint, like I said, no breakable parts. When I started, I said 0 zippers. Nothing was zippers because zippers break. And eventually they have nylon along the edges that hold them, that are sewn to the leather. But that nylon deteriorates and that zipper will fail. And so I gave myself kind of a fake constraint. I didn't have to say that, but I did because zippers are really, I love them on my jeans, And so, but what happened was I had to innovate. And so when I say, but inside of me, I say I'm from a state called Oregon, and a lot of environmentalists there. It's a lot of nature, a lot of beauty. That's where people chain themselves to trees and stuff like that. Those are my people, and except I don't chain myself to trees. But that's inside of me to want to care about the environment because I was raised that way, and I don't necessarily believe. I think there are a lot of fake things out there that people try to scare us, and all these things are just for people corrupt politicians to make money. And so let's just put our head down and do quality work. And so it's good for everybody, and it just makes sense.
Yep. So what's coming through here is some very authentic reasons for why you create the products you do and why Saddleback Leather is the company it is. How important is that to you, rather than just putting on a marketing slogan and saying, we're delivering the best products, or we'll outlast the competition? Why is that so much important?
So the reason that we do what we do is because I know. So I love leather, right? It's nice. Everyone who doesn't like leather, right? I mean, there are some people, but I think that's more of a facade. But there are some people who feel bad about the cow or something. But you don't peel a banana and eat the peel. You eat the middle part. And so when they kill a cow and peel it, they don't eat the skin. They killed it for the meat. And so you don't eat the peel, and they just throw it away. So, but that's apart from that. The reason that we do what we do is because we love people. So when I was down having my first bag made in 1999, I was living in Mexico. I was teaching kids at a poor school, a Christian school, and I was a volunteer. I had to raise money to be there because I love kids. I used to be a youth pastor at churches, and I studied the Bible, studied theology, and I have this really cool relationship with God. And it's not a religion. Jesus didn't say, "Hey, come join my religion." He said, "Hey, come walk with me, spend time with me." That's what he did. And so I have this cool relationship with God, and it's made such a difference in my life. And I was like, man, if other people had it, like, because I see a lot of fakey people and a lot of money hungry people and a bunch of hypocrites. I'm a hypocrite, by the way, but I try not to be. But the guys who don't care, man, watch out. Those guys are awful, self-centered. I'm not a violent guy, but I could turn that way if I got around some of those guys. When I got a lot of deep fulfillment in my life when I started this, when I found out how much God loved me, and then I had this really neat joy in my life and this peace that even in storms in my life, it's super cool. And so I just want more people to know about that. And if they like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. But you get a voice into people's lives when you do good work. And so when you do quality work, you try hard, when you care about other people, people will listen to what you have to say. And so having high quality leather goods at a fairly reasonable price, we've taken about 400 people to Africa to visit their sponsored kids. And that's really drives us, Love 41. My wife started that, and that's kind of our platform for giving. But we just love people. And so when we take people to Africa to visit their kids, the kids can't believe someone came all the way over to visit them. They cared that much about them. And it changes their lives too. And it changes everyone's lives. So that's why we do what we do, is because we love to see God changing people's lives. And so yeah, that's a really big deal for us. And so, but if I had just stayed to myself and I just had my little old job, and I wouldn't have a sphere of influence like we do. If I had an ice cream shop down the street, I would have a little more sphere of influence. If I was working just on my computer programming, I wouldn't have much of an influence, a sphere of impacting other people's lives. And but with a leather company that people know all over the world, like now I get a chance to really, I can say something and people go, haven't thought of it like that before. But if I were the garbage man picking up trash in the mornings, I wouldn't get to influence anyone's life in at work anyway. I would at home, of course. And every honest job is a good job, but I have a neat, it's my purpose. And it really quality is a means to have more of a voice.
Uh, You've also got a number of strategic partnerships now. You mentioned Love 41 as a project where you give quite generously to I guess many people who need that I guess the benefits of those projects. But when you're choosing those partnerships, what's important to you?
Yeah, so it's really important. Education is really important because um, if you educate people, that's what if their mind changes, that's what changes everything. So they have to. So I love teenagers, kids, not so much little kids. Those are for other people. Like I like the older ones. My wife loves younger ones, but my wife's real big into single mothers, and she just has a heart for those ladies. What a difficult life they have, and I love the youth, and then and education, and so we look for that when we're giving. It's kind of and then we look for so we believe that you got to share about God's love not just with words, but with acts of compassion too, because people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And so we have the Bible in one hand, and we have food or education or something else in the other hand. So they go hand in hand when we're looking for somewhere that we can donate or we can get involved with. Yeah, single moms are a big one. But here's the thing too, we can help a whole lot more like drug addicts by working with a teen challenge, which is for adults too. It's very transformational. They hardly have anyone return. I mean, it's amazing. It's an amazing program, but we can do, instead of us trying to help one drug addict after another, and we don't really know what we're doing and all that sort of thing, we can donate to them and give to them, and we can get the word out like I just did. I don't know if you caught that teen challenge. And they have workers that come over. We're having them plaster our walls, and also the leather bales that we're doing. They're going to be stacking them, and they have these guys who are in a year-long program who are going through rehabilitation. Their lives completely changed. It's a really neat program, and we hire them to come over. We give the money to the ministry, and that funds them to get more people in. And so we do that locally but also by talking about it. So other business owners will say, hey, who do I get to move all this stuff for the next 3 weeks? Teen Challenge. They're fantastic, and they're insured and everything. So, yeah. So that's how we choose. That has to be. We love it. We don't always. It doesn't have to be faith-based because, but we do like that because that has lasting change, and that's what's made such a difference in my life. And so we like that. But yeah, kids, single mothers, people in vulnerable situations.
Yeah, no, that's great to hear. And I just wanted to ask, you've got a couple of other corporate style partnerships. So when you've chosen those, so I think if I'm correct, Martin Guitar, Major League Baseball, you've got some partnerships with those larger corporations or larger organizations. What was some of the key things for why you entered into those arrangements? How does that affect your company's position?
Yeah, I was just lucky. So we did in 2017. I went to a car event, automotive event, and Toyota had a big showing there, and the head of Land Cruiser North America was there, and he introduced himself at the dinner the night before everything started. I walked right over to him and I said, while they were still talking, I said, I knelt down by his chair and I said, hey, my name's Dave. We're the Toyota Land Cruiser of the leather bag world. You can bend them, but you can't break them. I mean, we've got a 100-year warranty. And I said, and one day I'm going to have my dream is to have a Saddleback Leather Edition Toyota Land Cruiser. And he laughed and he said, well, anyway, the next day, they said, hey, would you be interested in doing a Toyota Tundra, Saddleback Edition Toyota Tundra? we saw your website and we looked into you, and very impressive. We would like to partner with you." Huh, me? I was just kind of kidding. I was like, "Wow, we're not that." So we did that, and then we became the official leather goods of the Texas Rangers baseball team, and that was just fantastic. So we've been doing it for 4 years now. This is our 4th year, and it's a good, clean sport. You know, a lot of other sports, maybe they don't have the most upright people. A lot of kind of maybe people of questionable character, fighters, scrappers, kind of thing. People all about themselves. So other ones didn't seem to fit with us as well. But baseball does. It's a good American sport. It's kind of America's pastime. It's tradition, and so and a lot of leather. And then Martin Guitar reached out. One of the people in charge there is a big Saddleback fan, and he has our bags and stuff. He said, "Hey, would you be up for doing like a Saddleback Leather Edition guitar?" And I was like, let me think about it for a sec. Let's see, the greatest guitar manufacturer in the whole world, like Eric Clapton plays, John Mayer, everyone who's anyone, when they go home, they play a Martin guitar. Yeah, sure. Let's do that. And so we started off with guitar straps, a Saddleback Leather Edition guitar strap. And we were just talking on the phone the other day about where you could put leather on a guitar that wouldn't dampen the sound. And so when you associate with other companies, you lend your reputation to them. And so for one of the things for branding is, I say, be careful what you're holding up in front of people, because if it's some knockoff piece of crap, something or other that people see you have, they're assuming that you're a knockoff piece of crap too. If they see that you have high quality, one of the innovators, like an Apple iPhone or something like that Samsung just is copying for money and doesn't have the quality, or your shoes, or your watch. If it's just a cheapo plastic watch, they say that person's probably a cheapo plastic watch on 2 feet. So you got to be careful about who you lend your reputation to. And so I had some other car companies reach out to me before that, but they're very low quality. Most American cars are low quality, just so you know. It's kind of one of our shames here in America. They just break all the time. They just bend and break, and you're spending tons of money on new transmissions. But Toyota was the perfect one. So the other ones had asked, and I said, I was like, well, I'm kind of seeing someone, but thank you. I'm honored that you would be interested in me. But I'm talking to someone right now, and thank goodness it worked out.
Just one more question on these partnerships and alignments, and how you positioned the mission and the ideals of the company. How has that helped you in attracting quality team members, quality employees?
Yeah. So what's really important for attracting employees, so you don't have to look very far, and they don't quit. It's rare. Is you have to let them know what you're about. And if they know that you're about quality, that you're about people, that you are an others focused person, man, you're going to have a stack of resumes. We had a marketing manager. We were looking for a marketing manager, I don't know, 4 years ago. And we had like 100 and some resumes of people who applied for the job. And most of those were customers. They wanted to work for Saddleback Leather because they said, you value the same things that I value. And so when you keep to yourself what you value, you're not doing anyone a favor. But when you share what you value, I value family time. Do not email me after 5 o'clock. I don't want to see a single email. Schedule it, do whatever. I understand if it's late. Sometimes I'll shoot a note to someone because I forgot or something. Yeah, there are always exceptions, but I don't want to see you working. You have a family. You need to spend time with your kids and your wife. You need to be serving them, caring for people, be thinking about other people. So when they see that we do those things, on videos, and we're not doing it so they praise us. We're just letting them in on our lives. This is what we do. We take people to Africa. We have a bunch of boys, young boys there that are older boys now, but they're our boys. And people say, man, that guy, I like Suzette and Dave. They love people. I love people. Man, I want to buy something, or man, I want to work there, or and we take our employees. We've taken a couple groups to Africa to visit. We see where their work, what their work does, and also to Mexico. We have a school there by our factory, our leather factory there, and we've taken a lot of employees, and they just love it that these poor little kids are getting a really good education fully in English, and it gives them pride in their work. And so, man, it's more, well, so I got to have lunch with Zig Ziglar. He was and for a couple of decades in America, he was considered the most successful man in America. And I asked him, I sat right across the table from him. There were like 6 of us. And I said, hey, Mr. Ziglar, if he was 82, if all of your books, all of your media, everything went away, and you could only leave us with one book for success, what would you write about? And he said, court your spouse, because success starts at home. He said, encourage everyone. Notice these are others focused, not me focused. He said, court your spouse, make her feel loved. He said, encourage everyone, and then try to help everyone around you to be as successful as they can be. And he said, if you do those things, you'll have success, I promise. But see, all of those are humble, as in you first, me last. I want everyone around me to be as successful as they can be. And I just want to support. And when that's your heart, not that's what you say, but that's what you actually do, that changes everything. And people pick it up, they notice it, and they want to be around that. Others focused, that's the key. And that's the key to hiring, is being others focused.
Some great advice there. Some great, I guess, a genuine, authentic sharing of your journey, your business, from concept through to where you are now. Great example of how your personal mission has, I guess, delivered a high quality product, enduring product to a market that needs it. But what you're doing with the business, what it allows you to do in terms of supporting community, supporting people in need, who need more help, resources for development because they don't have access to them. Absolutely fantastic. You shared with us today quite a lot, that there's a lot more behind the story, a lot more behind the conversation that we've had. Good thing is you've captured all of that in your book. They'll fight over it when you're dead. But I believe, you more than just you recollecting on your journey. There's a lot of great content in there about how you've actually discovered the business that you wanted to run, and discovered who you were, some of the challenges that you faced, but also some of the things that have really kept you strong and consistent in your, not just your business journey, but faith, family, and I guess community. You got a big community there, big part of what your success is about, and you've created something, a legacy product here, but you've created a legacy in more than just the product that you're delivering. So they'll fight over it when you're dead. We're going to share the links to where you can get your own copy of the book from Dave. Learn more about his story. Also check out the products, because they are super high quality. And I like Dave, I love a good high quality leather product. It endures, it lasts, and you always remember why you bought it every time you put it on. So Dave, I've been delighted to have this conversation with you. It's been an absolute pleasure. So many good reasons for us to go beyond just producing a product, producing a service, but actually think about what's the legacy we're creating, how are people going to feel when they use our products, but how are people going to feel when they think about what you do and what you do for them. It's been an absolute pleasure, Dave. Thank you for joining us on The Business Behind Your Business.
Paul, I really do appreciate you doing this. And you know what? Getting different people on like this, sharing their pain and their best things, their favorite tricks and all of this sort of thing, all that wisdom that people share, man, you're doing all of us people a favor. So I really do appreciate you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, and it's great that when we get guests like Dave to share his experience and yeah, make that available for our listeners worldwide. So thank you again, Dave. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Absolute pleasure.